Todd Rather, NRA board member in Arizona, is with us. Todd, good evening, sir.
How are you, Ken?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on the program tonight.
Well, thanks for having me.
Seems like every day brings a new twist in the fight for Prop 109, the Right to Hunt and Fish Amendment. The latest is that HSUS says that the NRA doesn't trust voters, which is why they're asking voters to vote in support of the right to hunt and fish. I don't get the logic with this, Todd.
There is absolutely no logic to any of it, and you know the Humane Society of the United States has resorted to lies before and resorted to all kinds of diversionary tactics, but this really takes the cake. I mean, to say that the NRA doesn't trust voters is absolutely absurd. I mean, we are an organization.
It's a ballot initiative.
Of course, it's a ballot initiative, and it's beyond absurd because not only is it a ballot initiative, but it places new limits on the legislature, new limits on the Game and Fish Commission, and it places limits on all means of legislation and regulation, so as to prevent emotional issues like mountain lion hunting or bans on certain types of hunting in order to to try to incite people to vote against a certain type of hunting. And what we've done is we've placed these limits on all means of legislating and all means of rulemaking in order to prevent a battle of emotion on the ballots. And so since we've taken away that ability, or we're trying to take away that ability, they're deciding to try to fight an emotional battle over Prop 109 itself. And in order to do that, they have to drag up things that have absolutely nothing to do with hunting or wildlife conservation, like cockfighting and the maintenance of pigs and swine in the state of Arizona. I mean, they have gone so far on this. It's laughable. I mean, their latest release, they complain about they claim that the NRA is upset about the outlawing of cockfighting somewhere around 10 years ago in Arizona, which is absolutely absurd. The NRA never took a position on cockfighting. I can't imagine a situation in which we would, because it has nothing to do with hunting. It has nothing to do with wildlife. It has to do with domestic animals. And that we were opposed to the way veal calves and breeding pigs are confined on factory farms. It's another absurdity. We took no position on that, and I can't imagine a circumstance under which we would. So what they did was they're trying to reignite the emotions that they were able to ignite in order to outlaw these two things, this cockfighting stuff and the way that veal calves and breeding pigs are held and confined on farms. And then also the steel jaw leg hold traps, which is something that they want to argue about and which has never come up, which we've never brought up. All of these things are things that we have never brought up, and this is what they're using to try to incite their people.
Yeah.
And and the whole thing is that their goal, HSUS's stated goal, is to become the NRA of the animal rights world. They admire us so much, and they're so jealous of us that they want to become the NRA of the animal rights world, and they think that they get to do that by lying to the public. And I would contend that the NRA has become so successful because we tell the public the truth, and we always have.
I was just going to say you have to have integrity if you want to be the NRA of anything. And HSUS again with this smear, clearly they don't. But one thing that's interesting about this, Todd, even just a month ago, HSUS was saying publicly, no, we think this is a solution in search of a problem. There's no need for this. It's not going to really matter one way or the other. Clearly, they are freaked out about the possibility of the Right to Hunt and Fish Amendment passing.
Well, they definitely are. This really scares them, and the reason that it scares them is because the way that this particular amendment to the Arizona Constitution was written has teeth. It's enforceable. It would make the emotional management of wildlife unconstitutional, and it would make the things that they want to do by outlawing certain types of hunting, it would make those things unconstitutional, and it's ironclad, and that's what's scaring the heck out of them. They are terrified that this thing is going to pass, and I believe that they're going to do everything they possibly can to try to beat it, including lying, which they've obviously done, and including trying to bring up issues that have absolutely, positively nothing to do with Prop 109. And, we just have to continue to do what we've always done, which is we do trust the voters, we trust our membership, and we tell them the truth. And that is, if the other side ever figured out that, the problem is for them is that the truth is on our side.
Yeah.
So their problem is that the truth is on our side, and we don't ever have to lie. We can always tell the truth to the voting public. We can always tell the truth to our membership, and we can always say to them, these are the facts, and this is why you should vote for this or you shouldn't vote for it. And we can always tell the truth. We don't have to lie to our people. But in order for them to, it's the same thing like what the Brady people have done, over assault weapons. They had to create something that didn't exist, which was this conjured up definition of assault weapon. And it's the same exact tactic, and I predict that it's going to fail for them. I think that we're going to win. We don't take it for granted. As you know, we don't take anything for granted. We fight till the bitter end, and that's what we're going to do. But they have resorted to a bunch of lies, everything from the fact that the NRA had nothing to do with outlawing. We never opposed the outlawing of cockfighting or veal calf. The confinement of veal calves and breeding pigs had nothing to do with these things. To the fact that this, is somehow a power grab. It's nonsense because it reduces the powers of the legislature. It reduces the powers of the Game and Fish Commission in terms of what they can do. They must regulate wildlife in a scientific way and to further hunting and fishing. And so they have limits placed on them. And to say that this is a power grab is crazy. It's just nuts.
It is. And so, Todd, in the minute or so that we have left, if folks want to show support for Prop 109, you guys have yard signs or anything that any material that Arizonans can use?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We have bumper stickers and back sheets and yard signs, and they can get those by going to www.nraila.org/yes on 109, and there's a place for where they can request materials, and somebody at headquarters will send materials to them. Or if they're in southern Arizona, they can email me at one of my business addresses, info@tjsafari.com, info@tj, like Thomas Jefferson, Safari, singular.com, and I can meet them and give them yard signs and bumper stickers and stuff like that if they email me. But the best thing is just to go to the NRA website and look at all the information there, and look at the video that Chris Cox put together about it. Look at all the information that Darren Lasort and his staff have put together on Prop 109, and learn the truth, so that when people ask you questions about it, you'll know what the truth is.